Hello, friends. It's Pat at Dancing Mood Travel, and we are so glad to welcome you this evening. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us for Let's Talk Travel, where we try to bring you good information and some of the best minds in the travel business to just share with you what all is going on and options that you might be just perfect for the kind of trip that you have in mind for your own travel. So with that said, I'm very excited this evening to welcome one of our best friends in the travel business. One of the most recognized names probably in the entire industry is Globus Travel. And we have with us this evening Denise Fraind. And when
Hi.
it comes, hi Denise, and when it comes to escorted travel, Globus Journeys it's just a revered name in the business. So we are delighted to welcome you. Denise, can we get started? I have just a little 1 minute video clip here. Can we start with that to just whet people's
Yep,
appetite?
definitely. Go right
Okay,
ahead.
here we go. Denise, I so love that video. If that doesn't make you just want to go pack your bags, you just, I don't know what it would take.
I
Um,
know. I'm so ready to get back to traveling, right? Especially when you see that video, it's like, oh.
I know it has been so long. Can we just, I always like to start off with just kind of letting people get to know you a little bit before we jump into the Globus journeys. Can you just tell us a little bit about you? How did you end up in the travel business?
And I'm sorry. All right. A little bit about me is I have a puppy, right? That is in the background right now making some noises. But
You got to
yeah,
tell
so
me what kind of puppy. I love dogs.
I have a French bulldog puppy.
Oh,
Yeah, so I've been wanting one. Let me just get a bone for him. So I've been wanting one for a while, and now with COVID, I figured now's a good time. I'm home because I'm never home, during
yeah.
normal days. So yeah, he's 9 months old, and of course, every time I'm ready to get on a Zoom or any kind of meeting, he starts to play.
They just know it.
So how did I get into the travel industry? So I am from, you could probably tell from my accent, I am from the Northeast. And I got out of college in Philadelphia, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, my mom works at Amtrak. Um, you want a job?" So I went through the class, and I was working at Amtrak for about 7 years. I was in reservations for a while, and then I was inside sales. And then we were hit with the blizzard of 96. I think it was 96, 97. And I'm like, I have to get out of here. So 2 positions came up in Florida, and I applied, and Amtrak moved me to Florida. So that got me down here. And then Amtrak had a complete reorganization about a year later. And then I was lucky enough to get the Globus sales job, and now I've been with Globus 22 years.
Wow,
I
wow.
know.
And I tell people all the time how envious I am of you gals and guys who got right into travel right out, right out of the beginning of their careers, because what all I missed by hanging and the law offices were very good to me. I can't say that it was a
Ah,
bad deal, but
right,
but
right.
but all the places that I would have seen that I'm trying to play catch up on now.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
the thing. I don't know if I would have had a chance or even thought of traveling to the places that I've traveled to. Being with
yeah.
Globus, I've seen some pretty cool things and have been in some really nice experiences, along the way.
Pretty awesome company to get
Hmm.
it while you're still young. So
Yeah.
let's start off, Denise. I always am interested in the big why question. Let's answer that for our listeners. People can drive almost anywhere in the continental USA and see the sights. We're focusing while you guys
Hmm.
do the whole world. We recognize you.
Right.
You could take our listeners anywhere they want to go, pretty much.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
but we're focusing on continental USA and particularly on the national parks
Hmm.
today. People can drive there and see,
Hmm.
but why do they want to go with an escorted tour rather than just driving through themselves?
Yeah, it's funny because I actually drove myself a couple years ago. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry.
Not to hey, we're real life here. That's just the way it is.
You know what? I'm going to talk and put him in another room real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
So let me tell you about my experience. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. So boy, this is so live, isn't it?
It's
Sorry.
hey,
So
we're just real. It happens.
I went with a bunch of my friends and we did Yellowstone a couple years ago. Globus and Cosmos were both sold out. So there were about six of us and we went to Yellowstone. And can I tell you, we never got through all of Yellowstone because there's so much driving. And I remember driving past the bubbling mud pots and seeing a motor coach. And it was one of our competitors. And we're like, oh, wait, I think those are the bubbling mud pots back there. And so that's another thing, is just leave the driving to us. Right. And another thing is these national parks are expensive to get into. So just on a week tour, you're spending over $200 just in parking and just to get into the parks. And a lot of these resorts, especially now because of COVID, people can't go to Europe, can't go to other destinations. So they are traveling more to the US. And like you said, they're either driving, they're renting a motor home, and they're going there. And all of these lodges are sold out. So these lodges sell out anyway during pre COVID. But now during COVID, they're even more sold out. And you figure we have space a year in advance. And we stay in the lodges, which also sell out very early. We've been doing the national parks with the Globus family brands the longest out of any tour operator. And we do have the most tours with national parks. So we've been doing it for a while. We do a fantastic job. The tour directors live and breathe these destinations. And that's another thing. You have a tour director explaining the hoodoos of Bryce Canyon or the
This
bubbling
is
mud
what I
pots, right? Yeah.
yeah, this is what I love. You get the
Hmm.
history and the context of everything you're
Yeah.
seeing. You're not just driving by and say, "Oh, that's cool." You get the
Right.
understanding. You understand the natural history and what why the mud pots are there. So
Exactly. And I remember I did Canyon Country with my mom about 7 years ago. It's a Globus tour. And I learned so much about a cactus. Like, I didn't know you could tell the age of a cactus by its arms, and it was just pretty interesting, learning all about the different plants and wildlife. And only these tour directors know that,
yeah.
unless you're
and,
Googling
and
along the way, right?
right. And specifically about Globus, what is it that you would say that sets Globus apart from some of the other tour providers out there? And who's the ideal client for a Globus
Yeah.
vacation?
So one thing that Globus does is, we're not all inclusive, which is nice, because you do have some free time. You can go to a restaurant. You can maybe go to a hike, go on a hike at one of these parks. So, we allow some free time. Another thing that Globus has are these local favorites. So it could be Antelope Slot Canyon. And these local favorites, they're just unique experiences. So we have that with Globus. And what's nice is that we have both Globus and Cosmos. So Globus, these are 4 and 5-star hotels, and Cosmos is 3 and 4-star hotels. So with Globus, you're staying right on the rim of the Grand Canyon. Cosmos, not so much, maybe the next town over, but you're still seeing the same sites with Cosmos. You're just saving about 30% less. So it's nice because you have the different brands. So who's the perfect candidate? Really anyone. Because we can take families, we don't take children under 5. And again, if you have a family, let's say of 4, and you just don't want to drive all of this, let us do the driving, and you just have fun and experience it and have a great time.
Excellent, excellent. So just to give people an idea, yes, we're focusing on the national parks and out west right now, but what are a few of the other most popular destinations that Globus would offer to our clients?
Yep. So we go, like Pat said, just about everywhere. Our most popular, let's say pre-COVID, right, was Italy, was the UK, was South America. We do a excellent Africa. We have small groups, but then we have private safaris with our other brand, that's Monograms. So our most popular is Italy. Croatia has been becoming pretty popular over the last couple of years. Iceland in 2019 was pretty popular. Iceland is one of the destinations that we're going to start operating this summer. So it's kind of interesting how different destinations over the years start becoming very popular. But Italy has always been, one of our top 3 destinations.
It's just for Europe, it's like the iconic. I think I probably sell to Italy to compared to any of the other destinations in Europe.
Right.
So always,
Right.
yeah, always a big popular. Do you have a personal favorite?
It's funny because we're talking about the national parks, and when I did Yellowstone, I want to say that was one of the places that just totally took me by surprise. That it's in our own backyard. It's so active, right? It's bubbling. It's the geysers. And so I want to say Yellowstone was one of the ones that floored me. But any of the Globus tours that I've been on have been absolutely fantastic. I did. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it.
It's crazy. He never does this. So Egypt, I did about 12 years ago. And that trip was kind of a surprise because I had a friend that just said, "Oh, I'm turning 50. I want to go to Egypt." I went, "Oh, well, let me see if I can get some of my friends to go." So we went, and I mean, just amazing. So I don't know if I have a favorite, but I would say Yellowstone was one of the places that just really floored me. And Machu Picchu.
Well,
Machu Picchu, you get there and you're like, how did they do this? How did they do this?
that's always an amazing destination. Well, let's try to turn our corner here and get to some of the actual itineraries that Globus offers for the national parks. And I think your Parks and Canyons Spectacular. Let's pull up that itinerary here. I think I mean, this just is about the ultimate of the park tours out there.
Yeah, I call it the Mac Daddy National Park Tour, right?
Okay, that's a good one. So this is 14 days, right?
It is. It is. Yeah, and it's into Rapid City and out of Las Vegas. And any of our tours, you can always do extra nights before or after. But that one covers Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse. And the thing is about Yellowstone is that, and if you don't mind going back to that map a quick second, Pat.
Sure.
So the one thing about Yellowstone is we do stay in the park at one of the lodges. And then you'll also see we go to the Tetons and then Jackson Hole. So in Jackson Hole for 2 nights, we stay at the Rustic Inn, which is the best place to stay in Jackson Hole. And it's a wonderful trip. And you can do the 14-day, but then we also have shorter ones that just do the Tetons, just do Yellowstone, or like I did Canyon Country that just does Bryce, Monument Valley,
Yeah.
Vegas, so you can do some
the
shorter
yeah
ones.
the that 14-day that has
Yeah,
four days in Yellowstone, so you really have time to explore. Um,
yeah,
it's so much, and the Tetons. I mean, that's just such an incredible, and then you Yellowstone. I mean, what can you say?
yeah.
Uh,
Yellowstone is really just beautiful. I mean, you have Old Faithful, you have, like I said, all those bubbling mud pots and all these geysers that are going off, and it really is an incredible place. And Yellowstone, we also have a tour that operates in end of January, February. It's Yellowstone Winter Wonderland.
ah, and that
Yeah,
could be a pretty amazing thing to do. Is
yeah, yeah,
Yellowstone in the wintertime, because first of
yeah.
all, the crowds are gone.
Crowds are gone. And the funny thing is that the tour director for that lives in Florida.
Of course.
He lives here in
Wouldn't
St.
you
Pete,
know?
and he says that is his favorite trip. He is the tour director for Yellowstone Winter Wonderland, and he said the
Yeah,
wildlife and the scenery is just gorgeous.
just amazing that time of year. And
Hmm.
and here's this other
Lost
itinerary
Canyons,
that
yeah.
yeah, that one is uh I mean, this really gives you a deep dive into some of the iconic Western US destinations.
It
11
does.
nights.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is Lost Canyons of the Southwest. So what's a little bit different about this one? So Globus usually stays on the rim of the Grand Canyon. But what's different about this one, and I think it's really cool, is you stay 2 nights in Williams. And it's funny you put this up here because I was just in Williams right before COVID came. I was at the Grand Canyon, and I was in Williams, and it is a cute little Route 66 town. And we stay right there, right by town, like 1 block from town. And then you take that Grand Canyon Railroad into the Grand Canyon. And that Grand Canyon Railroad, they have, you know, cowboys that come and do like a fake shootout. And you have people on the train that are, in dress. And it's a pretty cool experience. And that one has a couple of other trains that you take in the area. That's a pretty neat trip.
It's a great trip for any railroad buffs you have out there,
Yep.
because you do that Verde Canyon, and I love this one,
Yep.
the Verde Canyon Railway,
Yep.
and the Grand Canyon Railway, which is,
Yep.
more people know about that one.
Yep. Exactly. Like I said, I worked for Amtrak. That was my first travel job. So I'm a big train person. We have another one that does uh, historic
I wanted to show
trains.
there's one in here that I wanted to just I've got this on this current tour. Before we leave this one, it takes
Oh,
you to the
yeah.
Hoover Dam.
Yep.
On this one, as you're meandering your way to Las Vegas, you know,
Yeah.
uh, if you are into American history,
Yeah.
and you're into American exceptionalism, can I say that? I can't. It's my
Yeah.
program. Yes, I can. I can say
You
that.
can say anything you want.
And also, if you're into engineering,
Hmm.
we visited the Hoover Dam on a tour some years ago, and I could have easily stayed there for 2 or 3 hours at more than we were there, because it
Right,
is so
right. You
fascinating.
know what, Pat?
Uh,
If you go back to that map again, because I think that
sure.
tour also goes to, and I'm blanking out, yes, Boulder City. So Boulder City is the town that was created for the people that built Hoover Dam. So you actually visit Boulder City on this tour. And the thing about Boulder City is there are no casinos there. And they did that purposely, right, for the people that were building Hoover Dam. So they wouldn't be
Right.
gambling their money, right?
Right, right. And I mean, that was that the accomplishment in building that dam. I mean,
Mhm.
it really, if you're into American history and you want to uh, you definitely want to do a stop. If
That's a
you're
great
around
trip. Yeah.
Vegas, anywhere around Vegas, that is just a great,
Mhm.
great one. Now, Denise, the two that we've talked about so far, they're pretty long tours. They're 11 and 14 nights. Not everybody has that, and
Mhm.
I picked out this one uh, for people that might just have 7 nights because if you're not retired,
Right.
getting that
Right.
extra time can be challenging for a lot of people. But this one, most people can work this into their schedules.
Right. So we have this one that is Canyonland Escape. So now what's different about this one is that it is off season. So it travels off season for us is like fourth quarter and first quarter. So that would be October, November, December, January, February, March. So this is called Canyonland Escape. So you will see that this pretty much mirrors like the one that I did with my mom. That's Canyon Country during peak season, which would be April to October. The thing about the Escape is that the price point is very low. It starts at $1,400. And that is
Wow.
because it's off season. It's the same Globus tour. It's the same hotels, the same tour directors. It's just that everything is so much less expensive and less crowded, which is nice. But definitely check that out because that's
So
a
you
that's a
could
great
just
little
alter
trip.
your dates by a couple of weeks
Mm-hmm.
one way or the other and save significantly. We all of us in the travel industry know that pricing and rates can vary significantly from sometimes just from one week to the next, just because it
Yeah,
switches from high season to shoulder season or low season, and it
right.
really can make a difference. So you
It
have
can.
options for the people who need to go in high season, for
Yeah,
that's when they can get their vacation, and people who have the option of doing the more affordable
right.
low season. Yeah,
Yeah, and those
and
escapes we have almost everywhere. That's fairly new with us. So those escapes, a lot of Europe. If somebody wants to catch it off season, just let Pat know, and she can help you find something.
right, and some of the places this one goes to Arches
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
National
that's a
Park and
yeah.
and to Bryce Canyon,
Yep, the
which is
Hoodoos and
yeah.
Bryce Canyon, right?
So
Yeah,
and of course, it does. You get the Grand Canyon too. So
yeah,
it's just some beautiful beautiful scenery, and
yeah,
then there again, if you've only got the 7 days, this is a great option. So
it
everybody
is.
always we have to ask this question. You guys are just getting started again. COVID has wreaked havoc on the entire industry,
Hmm.
but you guys are really you're poised for takeoff now, right?
We are. We have been ready for months, and that's one thing about Globus is that we definitely did not hide under a rock. We came out with new tours, new initiatives. So it's been interesting to watch the company during this time. But we're ready. So we have
Okay.
this whole initiative right now, which is plan your comeback because we are coming back. So we are starting to operate the end of May. We did actually have a couple tours that operated in the fall, and it was the Canyon Landscape, the one that you just showed.
Okay.
And they operated, they did well. So now we are getting started the end of May, and we are starting with, like 40 plus US tours. So we will have all of our national park tours, Northeast, California, Mackinac Island, Tournament of Roses, Albuquerque Balloon Fest. So just about all of our US tours will be operating this year, except for Hawaii, because they haven't figured out about the whole inter island testing and flying inter island.
Yeah.
But Alaska land is huge. So if you want to go to Alaska, Not too sure, if we'll be able to get there by cruise this year, but we have a few land tours to Alaska this summer. Also, we're opening up Croatia, Greece, Iceland. We were supposed to open up Israel, but of course, just when we're about to go to Israel, all this starts. So I don't know about Israel, but yeah, you'll see every week we're opening up more and more destinations. So if any of you are interested in any destination, just reach out to Pat. I know Pat and I were talking before we got started, and it looks like the EU is just about to kind of relax a little bit. So we might be opening up a little bit more, which is great.
Things are poised for reopening. Greece just reopened. And that is flying off the shelves. Greece, everybody wants to go to the Greek islands, it seems. And what sort of measures, what protocols do you have in place as far as the safety, and any special requirements, vaccination required? What is the current status?
So the requirement is either you're vaccinated or you're testing negative 72 hours prior, or you tested positive at one point, you have the antibodies. If you are not vaccinated, or whether you are vaccinated or not, and you need to have a negative test to come home, because who knows from now until summer what will change. We will get you to where you need to go to get tested. So those are the protocols on board. We're trying to load people from the back of the coach. So we're trying to have you touch as little as possible, like not touching, like going to the front desk and getting a key. We don't have paper questionnaires anymore. So trying to make it that you're not coming in contact with as many people as what you used to. We have headsets like this for all the people on tour. The guide has a microphone like this. You have a bud in your ear so you can hear. So you can definitely social distance when you're on all of our walking tours for all of our brands.
Perfect.
Sanitizing. Depending on the different states and the different countries, you'll probably have to wear a mask on board the coach, but then outside, probably not, unless the state, or the country recommends it.
You have to comply with whatever the requirements are. It's a fact of life right now. What about space availability, Denise? Is there still some space available for this summer?
Yeah, there definitely is space. Just have them, reach out to you, because there's actually a new tool for you to look to see exactly what's available until the end of the year. But yeah, there is definitely space, and there are some tours that are going to go, and we're so excited. So yeah, definitely it's time to get back out there, right? We have to get out of our bubble. But yeah, we do have a lot of availability. I mean, some stuff is getting pretty full because people are getting a little stir crazy and they want to travel. And I think once Europe opens, it's going to be nuts.
Right. Definitely. We have seen in the past 4 weeks a huge uptick in inquiries and bookings. So people are there's that pent up demand that everyone talks about. It's real, and if you plan to travel this summer, I would say sooner rather than later. That's not manufactured urgency, folks. It's reality. Right. If you want to go, you better get your plan in place, because you could lose out for this summer if you have your heart set on a particular tour or destination. So, friends, first of all, Denise, thank you so much for joining us. We so appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Great job. Such a great overview of
Thank you. And we'll thank Louis for making all the noise in the background, right? He fell asleep, by the way. He fell asleep.
That is so cute. And and folks, you will want to stay tuned for next week. We've had our emphasis on domestic travel. We're still, in a sense, doing domestic travel for the month of June. We're going to be focused on Hawaii. So plan now. We're going to start off on the island of Oahu for our first week of June. And that's so much of what defines Hawaii: Waikiki Beach, the war memorials, and so much more. And finally, our word for the day is Globus. So if you want to be entered in our weekly drawing, put the word Globus, Globus, in the comments section, and you'll be entered for our weekly Starbucks card drawing. Thanks again for joining us. Thank you again, Denise.
Thank
Great
you,
job.
Pat, for having me. Thank you.
We'll see all of you again next week. Bye, everybody.